Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of obscure, well, sort of obscure, toys from the 80s, 90s, and today. And remember guys, we're in episode 35 now, so take each of these with a grain of salt. Start off this week with Storytelling Elf by Coleco, 1987. So Elf was a pretty popular television show on NBC and it aired from 1986 to 1990. Coleco made a storytelling elf stuffed animal doll with a built-in cassette player with all of Elf's recorded stories and phrases. The stuffed animal could also play any standard music cassette, obviously. The doll's mouth moved in sync with the cassette plays, and his eyebrows and ears also moved at irregular intervals to give him a little more personality. I myself as a kid had the wisecracking elf, and that was the one where you could just squeeze his stomach and he would say a few phrases like kitty kitty kitty, let's go check out the fridge, you're out of this world, hey give me 4, all his alien catchphrases. Next up is 2003's Aqua Pets by Wild Planets. Now, a 2003 toy, it's crazy to think that's already 17 years ago. Another one of those interactive electronic toys that came out in the early 2000s. It consisted of a transparent water-filled case housing a thumb-sized figure and a base with a microchip, microphone, and a speaker that could register and respond to any sounds made by the child playing with it, or if you had any extra Aqua Pets. It was definitely marketed as buy all of them to see how they interact with each other, very reminiscent of a Tamagotchi and a Furby. Blow Pens by Bicolor Workshop, later Jack Pacific. So originally this was a 20-year-old activity set coloring book, and it was recommended to me, so I started doing research on it, and lo and behold, Jack Pacific has bought it and resurrected it and brought it back. It's been available for purchase again for about the last 5 years. You can find this in Walmart and Canadian Toys R Us's. So this is the one that you're gonna have to give me a little leeway with, because technically it is back, but it was an obscure toy line. Like, how many people remember this, let alone know that it's still out? So basically it was a 2-in-1. You would get a working marker, but with a spinning wheel on the inside of the marker, you could actually blow on the end of it and turn it into a sort of airbrush that you could have at home. It came with stencils, scissors, different patterns, different colors, all in a different carrying case, you know, so you could sell different models. And it was originally only available online, but after Jack Pacific picked it up and reintroduced it, like I had mentioned, you can pick it up in your local Walmart or your Canadian Toys R Us. Nokia Ngage, 2003 to 2005. So I know this is a phone handheld video game system, but I think it still fits the criteria. It's something that we played with, it's something that's obscure, and it's something from our past. And it was recommended after we did the Nintendo Game Boy camera. So, Ngage was a smartphone combining features of mobile phone and handheld gaming systems, which was obviously developed by Nokia. It was released in October 2003. Now, the Ngage attempted to lure gamers away from the Game Boy Advance by also including telephone functionality. This obviously was unsuccessful, partially because the button design wasn't that great, and it was also in the shape of a taco. It actually has a mocking nickname, the Taco Phone. So Nokia reintroduced the Ngage QD in late 2004, but the sales were still low, only about 2 million. It was quietly discontinued in November 2005. Aside from working like a phone, there was also a handful of games that were released. There was a few Tom Clancy games, a few WWE games, there was a few X-Men games, soccer, football, golf, baseball, Bomberman, a few Atari masterpieces, and a few racing games. Next up, Rugrats by Viacom, 1997. Now this one also got me because I thought Rugrats were still around. My daughter's 3 years old and she watches it on Nickelodeon all the time. But I had no idea that they had also made some plush talking Tommy, Chucky, Angelica, and the dog toys in the late 90s. When it was recommended to me, when I started Googling it to find information, I thought everyone was talking about the Rugrat toys that you could get at Burger King in the late 90s. I know that was a popular popular toy, and it was, you know, kind of competitive with the McDonald's Happy Meal toys. So a lot of these pictures you'll see the smaller Rugrats, but Talking Tommy, Talking Chucky, and Talking Angelica. Go figure. Real Monsters by Mattel and Nickelodeon, 1995. Now, this is an obscure toy line to me as well, because I didn't watch Real Monsters in the 90s, and when it was recommended / suggested to me, I started to take a look around, and I could not find any commercials, and really not a lot of information about the Real Monsters toy line. Now, I know it's based off the cartoon series that was on Nickelodeon, and it was obviously made by Mattel. So the Real Monsters toy line was part of the Dare to Scare series, which you're looking at now in this video. So these toys have me at a loss, guys. I might go check out fandom, Wikipedia, I googled it, I even went to Nickelodeon. I don't know too much about the cartoon like I had mentioned, and there's not a lot of information on the toys other than that they were supposed to be part of a set by the original creator to be part of Pets of Frankenstein, and then the main 4 characters were added to beef up the line, and the toys and the cartoon went hand in hand. Now, other than the packaging and the bubble wrap, the only cool interesting fact that I could tell you is that each character would be given a special subtitle under his or her name. So an example would be Crumb, and then it would be a smell to scare. And I apologize if I butchered this one for you guys. I'm sorry. This is obscure to me. Like I said, I didn't watch the cartoon. I've never seen the toys, and it was hard to find information. If you have any Real Monsters info about the toys or the cartoon, let me hear about it down in the comments. I'd appreciate it. And that's going to do it for another episode of obscure, well, sort of obscure toy lines from the 80s, 90s, and today. So again, this was episode 35, and I have enough suggestions to do episode 36. And after that, guys, the well is dry. So please, 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 in the comments, if there's something we haven't covered yet or discussed, let me hear about it, and I'll do my best to get it out as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for watching again, guys. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in about 2 weeks.